one of the things I realized early on is I was a really bad employee. I didn't like working for people, and I didn't like having stupid bosses, of which there are so many. I took a negative thing, like that I'm a bad employee, and made it into a positive thing, which was I'll be my own employee. I'll do what I want. I just could see that I was better than other people right away. I mean, and I think what it is being confident to say that you're good. And people, I find people find that uncomfortable when you say that, when you actually say it out loud. And I was somewhere, I went on a date, and they were like, so you're good at what you do? I'm like, I'm the best. And they were like, well, you shouldn't say that. I'm like, why? It's factually correct. Like, and it's interesting because I think many times in my career when I praised myself or said I'm better or something like that, it really bothers people. I don't care.
How do you though straddle confidence versus being arrogant?
I think arrogant is being inaccurate about your abilities. So if you're really good at what you do and you state it, that's not arrogant. That's how you are.
Were you always comfortable with who you were as well?
Well, yeah. Try being gay, and back then it wasn't easy. At the time, you had to hide yourself. I think that mattered quite a bit to my upbringing. You had to hide in plain sight, essentially, and so you get good at that. I remember those. It was like, whoa! I remember the shame. It wasn't. I was never ashamed, but the fear of being found out. I don't remember. I think just one day I was like, this is ridiculously taking up a ridiculous amount of my mental time, and I have other things to do.
You have been in Silicon Valley for decades now, and really at the very early seeds of what we see today. What is it not at its best?
I think there's too much money in Silicon Valley. They're too wealthy. They live apart from people. They think having a plane is normal, and all these staff. One of the executives at Twitter was like, oh, I just got some really pushback. I go, welcome to the rest of our lives. I think a lot of these people live in these beautiful bubbles where they don't understand bullying, they don't understand abuse, they don't, you know what I mean? And so why would they know to fix it?
Look, yeah.
They just don't. And so it was really, and they were like, oh, someone was mean to me online. I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah. Would you like to look at my Twitter feed? Because, and and by the way, not me. What about people of color? You look at this, like they have it worse than me. And that person has it worse, you know what I mean? So I think they don't understand people's experiences.
And is it just then excuses? Because if they don't understand the experiences and don't necessarily have the mindset to bring in those perspectives.
They could do it. Like, that's canard. You know, you don't have to be a woman of color to understand her experience. You really don't.
So it's just making it a priority.
And
stop making excuses.
Ask a question. Yeah. Hello, person of color. Tell me what it's like. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's not that hard.
And not everyone has that.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that experience. Some people of color don't have that experience. Some people do. But it's a lack of interest in other people's experiences or questioning about it. And if you have the responsibility of all these platforms and you're running them, you should know the impact it has on people. But what they do is they'd rather have the money and the power and not the responsibility and the payment of consequences. You know, consequences is something that people in Silicon Valley don't do very well.
For you, it seems like it was something innate to always be asking the why. When you think about, the people that have worked for you and the teams that you built, how do you cultivate that skill set?
It's really hard. You have to, I think people indulge their personal insecurity quite a bit. Like, they're like, I was talking to a reporter the other day, and he wrote a story that just wasn't any good. Like, it was fine, but it wasn't like, why would you waste your time on this mediocre piece of shit? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. I had like 9 ideas. And they're like, well, I'm really hurt because I worked on it 3 weeks. And I was like, boo fucking who? Like, I don't care. When he said, I spent 3 weeks and you should appreciate it, I was like, I don't appreciate your 3 weeks of effort at all. Like, I don't care.
Because it's not good.
It's not good. Like, I do. I suppose I appreciate it.
But why do you get,
right? Yeah, it's not tough. That's not tough love, actually. It's not, people always say that, like, we should, like, you don't get a medal for not doing a good job. Like, you just don't. I'm sorry. People expect me to yell at them. I'm not like that. I'm actually very polite. When I talk to people, I tell them what's coming. Whenever there's a tough story, I call them and I say, this is what I'm going to say. And they may not like it, but they never are surprised by what I'm going to do.
Why is that such an anomaly for people to...
Reporters are sneaky. You know what I mean? Like, they're scared to tell people what they're really going to do. In general, reporters like to take shots and then run. You know what I mean? Like, and then run. Like, oh, like they're scared of what they said. So I don't. I take a shot and I stand there. And then they can take a shot back at me if they want.
I read that you on your tombstone would want the phrase fun, death.
No, but the punctuation's really important.
The exclamation points.
Fun, exclamation point, fun, exclamation points, fun, exclamation point, death, period. Yeah. Isn't that good? It's already on it. It's already, it's not I want it. I have it in my will.
You do. Why?
Because I want someone to be walking past my grave in a cemetery and laugh. Like, that is actually true. Like, fun, 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 death.